Welcome on the Marketing Main podcast. My name is Mike Peters. I'm your host today. And today on this show, we have Kendra Simmons from Los Angeles, located in Chattanooga now, a photographer, videographer, social media manager. So basically, doing similar as we do here, the member of the board of directors of a nonprofit organization called Chattanooga Girls Rock, and a lot more. Welcome to the show, Kendra.
Hi, thank you for having me. It was a great introduction.
Well,
Feels
I
kind of
mean, like,
awesome.
there's a lot. You have a lot going on there. California girl, and like, how do you get from like Los Angeles to Chattanooga?
Oh, the quintessential question. My dad was a single parent, had to raise me on his own. The company he worked for, the headquarters were out here. So, when I was 13, me and him, and then six other families, we relocated here. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
so like not by choice,
Not by choice.
by
I was a
force.
teenager. I
Okay,
swore I was gonna move back, when I turned 18, and now you couldn't even pay me to move back. So,
all
yeah.
right. So do you like it better here or over there?
I love it here. I would live here and I'll visit there. Most of my family has transitioned out of California, which seems to be the thing
The
now.
thing now, right? So yeah, that's. I mean, you know, um, that's yeah. I mean, they have pretty much fucked it up.
Yeah.
It's like.
Okay, can we talk like that? Okay. I feel
like
so much more better
that's
now.
like
You
it's
said my
like I
favorite
mean like
word.
this is really like they did I don't want to be political on this, but a lot of people, I lived in California for about a year on and off.
Mhm.
Most time I spent in California was up in the Bay Area.
Okay. Okay.
I did launch the Model 3 for Tesla with them, and yeah. So
Okay.
in my real life, uh, of course, that's not like my first business is industrial automation, and we do a lot of like PLC programming, robot programming for the
Love it.
automotive industry, and also like for some food and beverage companies, but mainly automotive. So
Okay.
Tesla is one of our clients, and I spent over a year in the Bay Area in 2017, 2018. And I know how it is, like super expensive. So basically, like if you're not making at least 100K, you're like poor.
You're
You
still poor at
like right.
100K.
I mean, it's like
It's
the poverty
horrible.
poverty line in the San Francisco Bay Area is below $100,000. You're
Yeah.
considered poor. So
Yes.
you cannot live there. Was less
Mm-mm.
than that, and even if you make 100K, it's almost impossible.
Yes.
We back then we lived in a 2 bedroom apartment, and we paid like I think $4,500, and it was not
Are
even
you
like anything
serious?
fancy or anything like that.
See, yeah.
It's like, and then also like the food is so much more expensive over there than
Right.
it is here. Especially when it comes to cheese and dairy and all that, like the normal stuff that you need, right?
Yes.
Eggs and dozen of eggs, $6. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And that's at the cheap store, right? Like
Right.
the what's it
Like the
called, the
Save A Lot version.
Safeway or
99-cent
whatever.
store.
It's like I'm right, but like yeah, it's expensive. I was just happy that I didn't have to pay tax there because I was freelancer and just like
Yeah.
working over there. Um, that was a huge benefit for me. But I can only imagine, if you make as much money as we do, you pay like 13% of taxes.
It's insane.
State
I would definitely recommend people just to visit for all the different stuff, but just again, like living there is insane. I remember going back to visit, after a while, and I took my grandmother to the grocery store, and just even, like, culture-wise, like, it's insane. Like, they didn't even speak to her. It was like paper or plastic, debit or credit. Where here, like, the person at the grocery store knows your entire life, like, when your kids are graduating high school and everything, just the personality stuff, but like you said, it's just so ridiculously expensive. Like, gas was already $5 a gallon
Oh,
several
we
years
were
ago.
we were we were we were just there in California this summer. We took an RV trip from here all the way
Yeah.
to Sequoia. Um and it's like even like out there Bakersfield and all those like little
Yes.
towns, right? $6.29,
Yep.
something like that. If you go to Los Angeles, I think it was over $7, right?
Yeah.
So it was ridiculous. So, and like here's us like with our RV, like basically, ripping us like a new one was the was gas. Like um the RV this year gave us 6 miles per gallon. So that was I was like,
That's
wow, that was
brutal.
brutal.
That's not
That was wild. That
okay.
was wild. So I mean, like
Yeah.
we have a big family, so we need that bigger
Yeah,
truck, but still, like, it was so bad.
I
But you know,
definitely
so where in Los Angeles did you live? Like,
well, I say Omani, but then people don't know what I'm talking
no,
about, so
even me, like I
yeah.
spent a lot of time in LA. You know, like I stayed with a friend of mine in Culver City. You know, right
Yeah.
there, like in that tip where it goes into
Yeah.
Venice, like Abbot Kinney and all those
Yeah.
places. But like, no. So where is it? Is it?
Like, so El Monte, I always tell people more familiar with, like, Pasadena, San Gabriel,
Okay.
because where they used to build the, floats for, like, the Rose Parade
So it's
and
like
all the
northeast of Hollywood.
yeah,
So
like, I was definitely not, like, a Hollywood girl, like a Valley girl and everything. I was s Vans and skater shoes and
okay.
all of that,
Well,
so that side of town.
was that
Uh,
side of town? Okay. So
yeah, it was predominantly Hispanic. That was actually probably the biggest thing for both my father and I is that I grew up in a massive melting pot. I was incredibly grateful when I moved out here that I was immersed in culture. My school was really great about that. We celebrated everybody's holidays because it was predominantly Hispanic, then Asian, then Black, then white. There was only me and another white kid, but we didn't look at it that way. We didn't grow up that way. And then coming here, like people make you very aware of everything, like your race, your religious whatever, so while there is Southern hospitality, there's the flip side of things where they just, "Oh, okay. That's
well,
how you feel. Alright."
I mean, you have those people everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. The it's yeah, you have the melting pot there.
Yeah.
Chicago the same, New York the same.
Yeah.
It's like it depends where you are. People are different, and people have different opinions. It is what it is. Can't change it.
Yeah.
The other thing is okay. So you say you would still like choose to live here all day long.
Yeah, I would definitely still choose to live in just the southern region. I like the fact that Chattanooga is kind of like a hub, so it's like 2 hours to Atlanta, 2 hours to Nashville and everything. So it's like even coming out here, it's like a 45-minute drive. You kind of just can go anywhere. So if you want to just have a home life and chill, but then it's like you can go to a larger city. I mean, because I'm in my mid 30s now, so it's like doing things at my own pace.
Right.
So it's like when I need a taste of something else, it's easy just to drive down the road real quick.
Right. So, and then like when it comes to like your photography and like videography
Mhm.
career, like are you doing that on your own or is there a company behind it?
Oh, no, it's just me completely by myself, that was just interesting. I worked for a local company called Echelon, it's like Peloton's, competitor, but, I was making a great amount of money working there, managing their entire customer service department. Then things got outsourced to the Philippines, and I got laid off, and what was crazy is my best friend, my business partner, who we started the Simon West agency together, he died unexpectedly, in the October of 2019. Hit a major bout of depression. I was working like 75, 80 hours a week. I was there till like 1 o'clock in the morning. One of my employees came in there was like, "You don't talk about anything creative anymore," and da 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 da. He's actually a very well-known artist in Chattanooga. Actually, like not even just in Chattanooga, in Atlanta. Like he landed the Bronco commercials named Suevo. And he just reamed into me, and we wound up going to Best Buy to get his phone fixed, and then I was just in the photography, like, the camera department, maxed out my Capital One credit card. I did what you're not supposed to do. I was having an irresponsible, depressive moment, and he came back over there, he's like, "What did you just do?" But I purchased, like, my first professional camera and then got laid off. I had 1 day to return it, and then my, former HR manager convinced me not to return it to get all that money back, and then COVID shut down everything. So, like, I had to use it as, like, a therapeutic outlet. People were still needing stuff because everybody switched to digital to make their businesses sustainable. Everybody had to pivot. So what I wound up doing was something that was needed, so I was able to sustain. So here I am almost 3 years later, and I haven't had to punch a time clock. So
Yeah, that's great.
woo woo.
So, well, I mean, that's interesting because, a lot of people, had not that good of an outcome
Yeah.
from the shutdown and everything. We with my industrial automation company, same. I didn't see it at the time when it happened. I crawled under the desk myself and said,
Yeah.
"It's not my fault. Everything is down. What can I do?"
Right.
Switched that up in the second half of 2020 and said, "Hey, you know what? I quit my day job. Like that I had to take because of COVID.
Mhm.
Quit my day job and just started dialing. Called everyone I knew
Mhm.
and actually made 400% growth of the year before, right?
Yep.
So, but a lot of people didn't have that. A lot of people went out of business. A lot, especially when you had a restaurant and you weren't able to
Yes.
pivot and stuff like that. But what you say is true. Like a lot of businesses suddenly saw, okay, we weren't online or not, very active online
Mhm.
before. What can we do to actually pivot that we stay in business? And those businesses, they took so much market share, from the businesses that didn't pivot or
Right.
didn't adjust and then went out of business, right?
Yeah.
So whenever, people talk about like a economic downturn or a
Mhm.
recession, what right now they don't call it that like that anymore, but
Yeah.
it is a recession, right? It where you can, if you pivot and if you don't stop and actually instead of like retract, you advance, then you take all the market share of the people that that don't, that
Yeah.
that do retract, and then just grab it, right?
Yeah.
So what type of business did you work for, and like how did this like pivoting for them look like?
That's a awesome question. Actually, so my background, I've actually never had less than 2 jobs since I was 17. I just like to stay on the go, and so everything has been um, customer service facing essentially in some way, whether it be retail or working in restaurants, then getting into call centers and just growing with those, like running customer service departments. So call centers and things like that. But I always kept like a retail job on the side. I just stay busy. I don't have any kids or anything. So I actually just the foundation of my core, I like to help people and solve problems. So I'm that weird person. I'm like, yeah, I like working in customer service departments because if I can fix your issue, I feel better about myself. So what wound up happening is when I had gotten laid off from managing an entire call center of people, I had this camera, was doing that. I was documenting with the Black Lives Matter marches and everything like that. But having to chase, like, many photo shoots and people that wanna be Instagram models and everything, what you're passionate about and everything, you can start becoming bitter and resentful towards. So what I wound up doing to make a sustainable business module is I took what I learned in corporate America in relation to customer service and started providing those services hand in hand with the marketing side of stuff. So I could do your photo shoot and do small clips and reels and everything because of what my camera is capable of, but I can handle like handling your customer service complaints because there's shipping delays and everything else. So, because everybody was so heightened emotionally and stressed out and everything, it was taking all of these different things off of people's plates. Um, by incorporating what I had learned in America, corporate America, as far as customer service and retail and everything else, and actively listening. So the stuff they didn't want to do, I enjoy doing. I get more excited about going to Staples than the mall. So you know, so that it just wound up making it even better in regards to my business. So it's like everything they're like, "Is there anything like you don't do?" But I love it. So, name it. I like to-do lists and stuff. So,
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, like the need for social media marketing, especially like what we do, like the content side of it,
yeah.
is it's just growing by the day. It's like there's so much more people that now pivot away from like regular marketing because it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
The attention is on social media platforms. The attention is in video right now.
You're
So
absolutely correct.
that is like nothing that you can you know ignore. But a lot of older businesses even pivot now. That's
Yes.
like we just came back from a trade show in Chicago last week where it was the biggest manufacturing trade show in the United States, right?
Right.
6 days long. We came there, we had an idea. It was like for one of our clients, we were like, hey, we're gonna live stream a podcast from your booth to LinkedIn.
Yes.
Wider your reach and stuff like that, right? Widen your reach. And I thought that was a good idea. And then we came there, and then the trade show itself, they had like a creator booth where it's
Yeah.
like they built a podcast room there on the trade show. Other people, influencers, were also there and invited even
Yeah.
by the trade show itself. So finally, even the dinosaur manufacturing, right, is jumping on that train, and it's really big for everyone right now because that's the way to go.
It's huge.
We had there's people that grow the businesses they work for like exponentially because they use tactics like you know online marketers already used the
Yeah.
last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they were like really able to like grow the businesses to a level where like regular marketing even didn't get them ever.
Yes. Ever. And I mean, and it's like even with what you're doing here, I tell everybody when I have conversations with people that are starting their own businesses or other businesses that reach out to me, like the last thing you want to sacrifice is marketing, especially in the digital media era. If there's ways you can cut corners, elsewhere, the last thing I would ever touch is like a marketing budget and everything because it's essential now. They're like to survive, you have to have content creators behind you, digital media marketing, because there's just I mean, I personally can say I don't know anybody that has a sustainable business that they don't have an online presence. You have to, at this point.
Well, I have to disagree with that because I know a lot of companies that they don't have any presence,
Really?
and they make millions of dollars
Yeah.
because they have a proprietary product.
Mhm.
It's like, especially like was our industry like manufacturing or
Mhm.
industrial automation. There's a lot of companies that don't need that.
Yeah.
They never do any marketing. I just talked to a friend a few weeks back. I was like, "Hey, wouldn't that be something you would be interested for your company? Don't you
Yeah.
want to grow?" And he's like, "No, we're good. We have $50 million in gross revenue. We're making about 10 to 15% profit, net profit.
Mhm.
Um, whereas like, all right, and is that I don't want more. I
Yeah.
don't. You know how much marketing budget that person had the last 10 years? $8,000, and that was just internally spent. Like, here's a pen with our name on.
Okay.
Here's the T-shirt for you. It's like it's for the employees. It's not for the outside because people know when they want to solve the problem that they have, that this company has the solution. You
They
know,
built a name for themselves.
right?
Yes.
So it's word of mouth. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this person works, let's say, at Ford right now,
Yeah.
and then um, gets a new job at Tesla.
Yeah.
Same problem that Ford had. Of course, that person is going to turn to that company and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
actually, I know the company that has the solution for that." That's actually what I just said. That it really happened. Like someone from Ford went to Tesla, that got them the job.
There you
You know,
go. Oh,
so
well, yeah, automotive is a completely different beast within itself. It was crazy. I got to shoot I think it was called Maps. It was in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Apparently, it's like the largest, like large trucking show in the world, not even just the United States, but just to even see the dynamic there, and then what people know because they've built a solid company and a brand, like a go-to solution, like you're talking in relation to that. Like they don't even have that.
yeah,
And then in the other areas where people are trying to dibble and dabble to grow it. So if they're fine with where they're at, and not wanting to grow it any further. But that's another thing is about providing a solution, and building that reputation that's solid, good networking and standing on your word and being
yeah,
a solution
that
provider.
absolutely. But again, like for a small business that wants to grow today, I think it's very crucial that
Yes.
that you have a social media presence, that you have an online presence, and they use the channels in a way where you know that it's about volume nowadays,
Yeah.
right? It's not like if you post every other day, that's like no one ever is going to see that,
Yeah.
right? And I get this all the time. I have companies reaching out to me as like in the function of like being the CEO or president of
Mhm.
Pitco, what is the industrial automation company. Where they're like, we have solutions for you. You can grow your audience by X 300%. I was like, okay, then pitch me. they don't know I have the second company. So they pitch me, and then what I hear out of that is like, okay, we post graphics for you, infographics, and all that kind of stuff for every other day. It's like we're growing your audience by 300% guaranteed. Okay, so you're growing it from like 9 to 27 because that's what this will do nowadays. Like every other day, one post, like on one platform of my choice,
Mm-hmm.
will grow by 300%. That means nothing. That's just word salad, right?
Yeah.
It's like, on the other hand, it's like, do you do any video? No, we don't. We don't do
Mm-hmm.
video. They want $500 a month for that,
Yeah.
right? That is, it's not breaking the bank, but it's also like wasted money.
Right.
It's like where you just putting whatever words you think are matching my company on a template that you already use for like I don't know how many other companies,
Exactly.
right? Where is it unique? Where is the volume? Where is the video? Where is, that's just not
Call.
working anymore, right?
Yep.
It's not working. So
Call them out.
if you don't like create at least, I don't know, like 2, 3, 4 reels a day,
Yes.
right? Or YouTube shorts or TikToks or however you want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
and repurpose also cross platform. And then plus you have the stills. You're not gonna cut through all those like TikTok dancers and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
You are
because
so right on all of that.
I mean that is like people always misunderstand. It's like, yeah, all right. So all the reels posted today, I would say 90% of them are people wanting to be an influencer or wanting to just create something and get a lot of likes to like, trigger their like endorphins or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but they don't have to really create, right? What they do is they just copy, right? They're
Yes.
just like, okay, I have a cool like 6-second video that I took on my phone, and then I put music from a sound or whatever is that
Right.
that is called, and you have to now be able to cut through this with your originally produced content
Yes.
that is original to you and your business or your personality, personal brand, or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what people don't understand. It's like, oh yeah, that person got 16,000 views on a reel, or 100,000, 500,000, 2 million views on a reel.
Right.
Just with one reel and has all those followers. That's true, but that's not originally produced content, and it's not trying to sell you anything.
Exactly.
So whereas like people always ask me, it's like, oh, you have a podcast, that's great. Yeah. Okay. It's a vehicle. It's not the product.
Right.
The podcast is not the product of this company.
Right.
The podcast is the vehicle to show other people that we have services that can solve your problem
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to content creation, when it comes to content marketing, when it comes to getting you and your company out of obscurity.
Right.
That's what we do. It's a vehicle. It's not the product. But those influencers that you're talking about, or those kids that do the TikTok dances or whatnot,
Yep.
they are using that as the product.
Right.
That's the huge difference, and that's what people have to understand that run small businesses or even bigger business.
You definitely sound like you know what you're talking about. No, and you bring up a very good point in all of this is the fact that the stuff that's trending and everything that gains those followers is that a true marketing agency is going to understand like how you're bringing in growth as far as followers, but you still, is it bringing in revenue, is it correlating to you selling, if you sell an actual product and everything? So are they even balancing out the stuff that does bring in people, but also correlating, are you seeing a return on your investment? A lot of people, like I see it happen because, I have friends that, have their own businesses and people that try to come in and do exactly what you said. They're pitching whatever and they're doing what's trending, but that doesn't bring anything for their business. It doesn't help them. So if they have a clothing boutique and everything, and you're just doing some random TikTok dance in your room and everybody likes the dance, and then you get 1,000 followers off it, how did that bring in business to your boutique? True like marketing agencies are going to go in there knowing what your business module is and everything, and finding a balance and being able to, yes, get those followers, but knowing the right times and stuff and everything, and bringing that traffic to come here as well. People will just focus on that one specific thing, and that's not providing a solution, just like you're talking
Right.
about. So
Exactly.
yes.
No,
Awesome.
that's very important. We're gonna have to cut this, but you have to stop like
Oh, sorry.
bouncing and like because this all gonna pick up.
So sorry.
I'm just saying, because like that's all like noise that
Yeah.
that
Sorry,
goes
I
over
fidget.
our talking.
I didn't even notice. Could I actually get you to turn while we're paused to
Yeah.
bring the mic down a little bit?
Down
Like
Just like this.
like that.
yes,
I'm not
that's
talking
perfect.
extremely loud.
No, you're fine.
Awesome.
All right. I'm sorry about that.
No, I'm so sorry. I talk with my hands.
Yeah, I talk with my.
I'm
I,
surprised I didn't hit it
This is like
yet.
so I did this in the
Fidget.
beginning too. It's like if you do this,
Yeah.
this is awful. And then also like it picks even through the
Right.
boom arm and everything. And then talking to your hands, I do that too, but I try to just like keep it here.
Yeah.
To not like bump the microphone because otherwise, you always has those like really hard knocks.
My hands folded, so I don't do it. Like it's a fidgeting habit. I accidentally hit somebody in the face once.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. It's like no, all right. So yeah, absolutely. So tell me what are your goals like for the future with your little company? You're just like doing freelance work at this point, right?
Yes. Oh, big question. I started to work with a company that was essentially trying to create the same thing. It was supposed to be a media company, but there was just no organization and structure around it. And I was trying to decide if I did want to hit a time clock. But I think especially like as a creative that also understands how business module works and everything, because there wasn't a single person that didn't even know what an ROI was and everything. You can't have a sustainable business. And actually, it was my father who brought it to my attention. He's like, you're going to damage your own brand and reputation out here for what you do on a smaller scale, by associating that because people are trusting you as an individual and what you've done on a smaller level, associating there. So if they don't have it together, even though there's more money, but you can clearly tell because of your background in corporate America that they have no structure. There's not a spreadsheet to be found. None of that, it's just going to wind up crashing and burning. So do you want to invest your time and creative ideas into something that isn't going to go anywhere? So I was hopeful at first, but you got to kind of take that loss and be responsible and hold yourself accountable to know if you have insight to the foreseeable future, so you yourself pivoting. So yeah, like right now, everything, especially holiday season, I've been trying to avoid like doing like mini photo shoots for the holidays, but there's always something that needs to be done. And just again on a smaller scale level, just helping businesses. So I have monthly clients that everything's fine, handling what
So
they need.
on a retainer.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yes, on a yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So on a retainer, so on that, even when I leave here, I gotta go meet with one that's a smaller business. So yeah, it's when you're on a smaller scale, it does get nervous. I get nervous because I am in my mid-30s, and what am I doing to make sure that I'm gonna be okay if I do live to see 67 and 70 years old? Am I gonna be doing the same thing and understanding investments and stuff like that? So I don't wanna be doing, like, Christmas minis and, also, it depends on certain businesses. I've had businesses that just weren't able to sustain because of the product that they had. So even people I had on retainer, some of them aren't here anymore,
Right. I
So
mean, that's just the nature of the beast, if you will.
yes.
So take newspapers, right? So
Yes.
they were big for I don't know how long, right? Now they're almost gone. I mean, there's still a few left because they pivoted, right?
Yeah.
But then there's still a few that are still around, but they are like, oh, try like Chattanooga Free Press, right?
Yes.
Try reading the articles, right? It's like you read like 3 lines and they're like, "Doop, paywall."
Yep,
It's like-
exactly.
and I'm like, okay, bye. Not going to come back to you because that interesting in the first place. I'll get the information I want
Yep.
without you for free.
You're awesome.
And they're gonna go. They're gonna go. It's like
Yeah.
it's always like the local newspapers that do that.
Mhm.
Like you go on New York Times, like
Right.
everything is free. everything,
Yes.
right? You go on Huffington Post, all those newspapers, the bigger ones, they're free, right? Because
Right.
they know if we do this, not happening,
No,
right?
I am one
So,
of those people.
The thing is that other products, the same. Right now, we're talking about, flip phones, right?
Yes.
Oh, we were the bigger Nokia, for example, right? Nokia was the biggest or like cell phone manufacturer at some point. They're still around, but they almost got bankrupt because they didn't pivot to smartphones, right? They're like, okay, now you have Nokia on retainer and they're still around, okay, but like think about other companies that went out of business,
Yeah.
right? It's like it's happening, and you say you're in your mid 30s, that's still young, like I'm reaching my mid 40s now, and I feel still young. So the thing is that
that made me hopeful.
when we go from here 30, 40 years in the future, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't see it in a way where, I'm I'm not even working in my business anymore. The only
Yeah.
thing I'm doing right now in the business is writing checks and recording podcasts, right?
I want to be like you when I go.
So that, but I mean,
Right,
the
check.
thing is this: you have to pivot away from, if you like looking into the future and say, okay, I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
But am I really a business owner, or am I owning my job? Right. So right now, like I have been there. I've been a freelancer. I owned my job.
Yeah.
Was it a business? Yes, it was a business entity, but it was really just me owning my job, right? And it's high risk, when you're alone. You can only sell so many hours of yourself, right?
Right.
Until you reach like either exhaustion or the 24-hour limit, right? So leverage other people, leverage other people's time, and then at some point you reach a point where you leverage other people's money, and then grow from there. I don't want to be thinking about a 67-year-old me even have to like write the checks by myself. It's like there's going to be either a huge corporation or multiple ones in the
Yeah.
best case scenario, and me sitting somewhere and like negotiating bigger deals. That's my idea of like being 67. Right?
Yeah.
Creating a legacy for the tons of children I have. It's like 5 children. They all want something, right? So
Yeah.
that's my main goal. Like I don't think of it like that about it like that anymore, because I know at 67, if I'm still alive, what I hope so,
Yeah.
this is not going to be what it is today.
Yeah.
In 5 years from now, it's not going to be what it is today, right?
Right.
My first business here in the United States, I founded in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's like a little bit more than 5 years ago, and it's absolutely not what it was back then. Today, it changed drastically from just last year to this year, or the last 2 years, right? It's like it's always evolving if you let it.
Yes.
So and that's the way I see it.
You got to be adaptable
So
to change.
for our viewers, like, so you're located out of Chattanooga.
Yes.
You're doing social media marketing. You are doing photo gigs, video gigs, and stuff like
Yes.
that. How are people able to reach you?
Oh, so I mean, yes, there's of course social media and everything. So
So what's your Instagram handle?
the Simon West _agency, because apparently Simon West is a huge director of like Tomb Raider and everything, so I couldn't get that handle.
All right.
So I have a very long handle there. Facebook, it's just the Simon West Agency. Email address, book thesimonwestagency.com.
All right. So if anyone has any needs for that, reach out to her. And thank you for being on the show for today.
I have a great
I'm very sorry, but like we have another guest coming in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
We have to cool down again. Like I said, thank you for being here.
Yeah.